I know, chasing that dough, hitting that road, getting that money, man. All I know, loading that foe, kicking down doors, getting that money, man. We gon' make it money. We gon' take it Grizzly. We gon' make it money. We gon' take it Grizzly.
The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros is Eddie Hearn says Bob Arum is old school and think that fighters work for him. So he was speaking with Teofimo Lopez and his dad, and Teofimo Lopez's dad made a comment, and then Eddie Hearn responded. And let's take a look. Again, this video is from Behind the Gloves. You can subscribe to Behind the Gloves on YouTube. All right, let's take a look.
Thing that I loved about what Eddie said. Who's the boss?
Yeah.
Who's the boss?
You're the boss. Well, not you.
Not me. Him.
He's the boss.
Okay.
This is what
the
I say.
fighters are the boss.
The older generation, and even my dad included. You know,
You sure your dad ain't gonna kill you for this?
No, he's fine. Because
Okay.
he said it before. They come from an era where the fighters work for the promoter. That don't exist. We work for the fighters. It doesn't matter
They lose
whether
their lives
it's you
in there.
or whether it's a 6-round fight for someone turning professional. They're my boss. I work for them. But that generation can't say it. If you said to Bob, tell me, Bob, look into my eyes and tell me that Teofimo Lopez is your boss, do you think he could say it?
No.
He couldn't say that.
I don't think so.
But I'll tell you this.
No comment.
On November, everyone watch this on camera. On November the 27th at Madison Square Garden on the zone, Teofimo Lopez is my boss.
Can you look at and say he's undisputed?
No,
That's it.
we won't do that yet.
Yeah, but the fight is promoted as undisputed. Everybody
But I'll
knows.
tell you, as I said,
the
he's
fight
the
is
star of
promoted
the
as
show.
undisputed.
November 27th. I work for him. No shame in that.
Yeah.
I'm just a promoter. He's the fighter. He's
And then February 2.
Because
Yeah,
at the end of the day,
February.
at least someone understands it. Is this? He can't eat without the fighters. We can't eat without the promoters.
Well,
Exactly.
you can always eat because
Well,
you're the
but-
talent. Doesn't matter who's
Thank
promoting
you. That's
you're
true
always
what
gonna
he
get
says.
paid.
That's true.
Something different, but as you heard, he's saying T.O.'s his boss and they work for the fighters. He's saying Bob Arum can't say that. He's saying that they come from an era where the promoters tell the fighters what to do and the promoters basically are the fighters' boss. So, Conspiracy, what was your reaction to that exchange between Eddie Hearn and Teofimo Lopez?
Eddie Hearn is 1,000% correct. The entire exchange, and the reason why he knows is because I don't know if y'all remember this. It was one of our early episodes. We had a situation with Barry Hearn, and Barry Hearn said we were slave traders, talking in regards to boxers and how it's a new era, and now the boxers, we work for the boxers today. So when Eddie was talking about Bob, I think Bob has the same mindset as his dad. And it's just like, yo, they're old school. They think they run the sport. The fighters work for them, but it's a new day and age. These fighters could go to any, team and make their own money. They could generate their own money and things of that nature. So he was correct. He's like, hey, I work for you, right? Allow me to help you get to the bigger bag. That's essentially what he's saying. Promoters shouldn't have boxers' careers for hostage. So Bob is an old school guy, man. And so hopefully, and I'm not wishing, any harm on Bob, but like when Bob steps down due to his age or whatever, when new promoters rise up, they understand that mindset. Like, hey, you know what? I'm working on behalf of these fighters as opposed to they're working on behalf of me.
All right, $1 bill.
I say this all the time. For me, Eddie is the new Jerry Maguire, right? He really is, he's for the fighters. Build a different type of relationship with the fighters to like where he's, reminds me of how like Lou DiBella. Y'all remember when Jermaine Taylor won that time against Bernard Hopkins and he jumped in there? He was so excited. He invests in his fighter. You know what I'm saying? Got him from and that's where Eddie, he really cares about the fighters and them getting the chance to, do their thing. But also, as long as they, all right, here's the flip side to that. You know, because I just don't want it to be a hate on Bob moment, because Eddie Hearn shows a lot of love. You know, he shows a lot of love to the fighters, but he has to be compensated as well. Okay, Eddie, we know you love these guys, but you're getting something on the back end as well. You know, these guys is, you know, either they're fighting underneath your zone, or they're doing something, repping your banner some type of way where your logo could be in the back some type of way. Eddie, you know, they're helping you out also. Bob, it got to the point where, you know, Bob is from that old way, but Bob also builds fighters from the ground up. You know, a lot of these fighters already had certain type of names, and they are who they are, Eddie. And so you came to their aid and helped them get some bread. That's cool. But now it takes over $1 million, $1.5 million to build a fighter from the ground up. And you're trying to tell me that the promoter shouldn't be compensated for
Hold on,
believing?
you didn't say that. You didn't say that.
No, let me finish cooking.
All right.
See, I'm just saying this for Bob. You mean to tell me that he shouldn't be compensated for the efforts and the things that he put in? Now we understand with Bob's situation. He comes from that but Bob has been changing. Bob has been changing. He realized times has changed. He even said that in interviews, times has changed. But Bob is also does things differently. He makes superstars. He builds superstars. So shout out to Bob. I don't want this to be a hate Bob moment. But what Eddie is doing, you know, is marvelous. He's looking out for the fighters, and he's trying to do his best. Look with Devin Haney. He's champing hard for Devin Haney. He's like, guys, I'll pay y'all all ridiculous type of, just fight this guy. Somebody please. Right? Somebody please fight this guy. You know what I'm saying? He's going out there, he's trying to get fights for guys. Look, he's been great for boxing. Eddie Hearn, I have nothing but good things to say about Eddie Hearn. But I don't want to diss Bob either, because Bob has did a lot for this sport. Bob has gave us a lot of great fights, and his company's still going, and a lot of stars have came from Top Rank, the Mayweathers, the Cottos, and so forth. So just don't want to crap on Bob, you know. But yeah, Eddie is the Jerry Maguire of boxing.
All right, TBE.
We all see it. We see that Eddie's style of promoting and how he works is more is what's the fighter wants, and Bob is what it's all about how Bob and you saw with for instance Terrence Crawford, when he was like, oh, we're gonna fight this guy. He really wants his guys to run on his type of schedule, and you just see the difference in styles of promotion, especially when you look at how Showtime and PBC works as well. Like, you see Eddie always trying to like buddy or push it forward. But to say this, he's not lying. And Bob's an older man. Bob's been here a long time. Fighters came and gone with him, and he knows how it works. But these are young guys. These are guys who want to get their names out, and you gotta do what's best for them. And at this point, it is what it is.
So the thing here is, like, Eddie Hearn is correct in the sense that Bob Arum is old school, but you have to look at it like this. Bob Arum's the one who takes the losses. So whenever they put on a show, if the show doesn't meet a certain quota, if they don't meet their marks, then Bob Arum's the one who financially takes the hit. And in many people's mind, that makes them the boss. When you're the money, you're the boss. When you're the one who's taking the loss, that makes you the boss, right? So in his mind, he's saying, I am the boss. Eddie Hearn's coming at it from a different perspective, where it is, yeah, we work for you, the fighters, right? But you're also the one who takes the loss. So what Eddie's really trying to do is spit game in a nice way, in my opinion, right? Because it's like, you need me, and you know you need me. So I'm going to say all the right things, but at the end of the day, I'm really the boss because you need me. So you can say it however you want, right? The thing is, And he goes into it in this video, and it's true. You have Takeover Promotions, you have the Dream Promotion, Devin Haney Promotions, whatever. All these promotional companies, they don't got deep pockets. They can't afford to take no losses. So they put their name in the ring, but really it's Matchroom funding it. It's Matchroom that's going to take the loss. And these fighters could all fight each other without Matchroom. They could do that. But they have to take the risk of the loss. So if they don't sell out the arena, if the pay-per-view numbers don't, they're going to be the ones who owe the money. And they don't want to do that. So they're always going to need not need, but they don't want to assume the risk, so they rely on the promotional company because they don't want to assume the risk of the debt of the loss. Go ahead, G.
Just add a quick thing. And also, these arenas don't even like to work with boxing promoters, like the boxers who have their own promotional companies. They won't work with them because they know, like, yo, they're newbies. They want an established organization that has done this for years. And so they have to tend to go under these major promotional companies, even if it says, I don't know, Man Down Promotions. We really know it's PBC, you know.
Beautiful point, G. And another reason is because look at how some of these fighters carry themselves outside of the ring. You're not professional, so they don't want to work with you in a business sense. Mm-hmm. You look at all the stuff Floyd does, but the one thing Floyd always does is he's professional in the business setting. Mm-hmm. He knows when to flip it on, when to flip it off. And so, like, that's another thing you got to look at. And so that's another great point. If I'm a venue and, like, you know, I'm not trying to disrespect. I'm just trying to make a point. AB Promotions is trying to do their own thing. And AB comes to me. I'm going to be like, yo, this is the dude I've seen acting immature. This is the dude I've seen arrested. It doesn't mean that he's going to mess up his money and not do the promotion properly. But the perception is, do I want to get in business with him or do I want to be in business with the guy, Bob Arum, who's done this for years? Al Heyman, the guy who has a history of doing this and doing it, or do I want to trust this guy who isn't portrayed in the best light? And so that makes it more difficult. And so some people aren't going to want to work with the fighters if they try to put the show on their own. But the point is, Bob Arum it's all about approach, right? So it's like, I'm funding this. I'm putting the money up, and yeah, I'm going to get return on my investment, but y'all are the bosses.
Exactly, that's what he said.
Y'all are the bosses, right? That's Eddie Hearn's approach, and cool. But Arum's approach is like, yo, I'm the money. I'm gonna take the loss if this doesn't, and I'm gonna take the profit. So I'm the one with the most to lose here. So y'all do what the F I say. It's all about the way you want to perceive it and the way you want to go about it. And Eddie's taking a you get more flies with honey approach. But if it ever came down to it, he'll put his foot down. So it just makes me laugh. Like when he does it, it's all an approach, but the reality is the reality, right? Go ahead.
If I can interject. Maybe what Al and Eddie are doing is a bit different of like a business plan, right? So Bob is, hey, I take all the risks, so therefore you're my employee. But I think what the Al Heyman and what Eddie Hearn are doing is, hey, we're partners. I will loan you this bread. So if it's an L, you owe me some money. So then it's like kind of like the record companies, right? They'll give you an advance. If your album's successful, I eat. If you flop, you owe me X amount of dollars, and I'm gonna collect that money sooner or later. If it's not the first album, it's gonna be the second album, what have you. So it's pretty much you're in debt to Eddie or you're in debt to Al. You know what I mean? So it's like technically you are your own entity, your own corporation. But however, I'm loaning you the bread. You're gonna have to pay that back. And I'm assuming if it is like anything like the music industry, you might have to even pay back with interest.
Go ahead. Actually, now I'll let you go. Let me just respond to that. Yeah, but as you already know, it really depends. I'll give you an example. If you got hit by a car and you broke your leg and you went to an attorney, they're going to take your case and they're not going to charge you up front because they know that you got money coming in. So they're gonna be like, yo, I'm gonna do this work for you, and then you can pay me what you owe after you get paid, right? Whereas, like, if you had a case and the attorney wasn't really sure about it or whatever, they'll want you to pay them up front. They'll want their retainer, right? So I believe it's the same with the promotional companies, where they have a fight that potentially can be very lucrative for them. They're going to say to you, you don't have to assume the risk. You don't have to worry about the loss. But we're taking the risk for the loss, so we want a greater percentage of the profit.
Yeah.
Right. And so if you're the fighter, that's insurance for you. So whether this fight does great, I'm gonna make me some money. If it doesn't, I don't owe anything. That's the whole purpose of the promoters, bro.
Yeah, no, that's
they're not doing that partnership thing. That's what I'm telling you.
You don't think Eddie's doing that? I think he is.
No, he's not. He's not. He said he's not. He says it. He says it. He says, for you, just never assume the risk. He tells T.O., never assume the risk and always make sure the promoters take the loss. He gave that advice to T.O., but what he's really saying is always need us. Never get ambitious and go out on your own and say, I'm going to assume the risk. I'm going to believe. Always have us on your side. Always have us to take the loss, because you can go freely. It's like insurance when you get a rental car, right? If you take the insurance or whatever and you crash it into a tree, you just tell them like, yo, man, I wrapped the car around the tree, my bad. And you leave. And they're like, yeah, you pay for our insurance or whatever. But if you don't,
you're on the hook.
Yeah, they got insurance on that car anyway. So it ain't about that. But what it is you didn't put insurance on that car. So now we can try to come at you for what we had to pay to fix that car. So that's basically it. Trill, look, you have something to say?
I was just saying, no, I agree. It's just like, just they're playing the same game. It's just whose presentation you like better.
Yeah. I wanted to add this. Remember, man, he said Big Baby and Amanda, when the Serrano sister, when she backed out of the Katie Taylor fight, owed him some money. I don't know how Eddie went about it, but he did say he did come out and say he paid her money, and if she backs out this fight, she's gonna have to pay that money back. Also,
it's a bank. Promoters are
like, that was something different, bro. He gave her money for training camp. He gave her expenses in advance for a fight that was going to happen with Katie Taylor that she pulled out of.
And
that's why he wanted his money back. I'm sorry, go ahead, bro.
No, I totally agree, and that's what these guys is doing. Bob done did this for many fighters.
The point about the loss is that, okay, like Terrence Crawford, for example. Here we go. I can hear the birds yelling that I'm hating on Terrence Crawford because I'm stating facts. He's funded pay-per-views for Terrence Crawford, in which Terrence Crawford sold like 60,000, and he took a loss. Bob took the loss because he didn't make the money on the arenas. He didn't make the money on a pay-per-view. It cost more to put on the event and do all the things than he actually made. TC doesn't owe Bob that money. TC gets to keep all the money he made while Bob takes that loss, right? However, if it was a partnership, when TC's numbers aren't good, then TC is on the hook and he owes Bob. But part of why they signed with Bob Arum, part of why fighters sign with a promotional company is because it's almost like insurance. If your fight doesn't do well, you won't be on the hook for any money. Like you said, the labels do it. The labels say, yo, if your album doesn't sell, you got to pay me all the money back. That's not what the promoters are saying. The promoters are saying, if your fight doesn't sell, I'm going to take the loss. But if your fight does sell, I get my profits. Right? So that's what they're doing. That's what makes it lucrative. That's what's the incentive for these fighters to have a promoter. If these fighters were going to be on the hook for the losses anyway, then what's the point in having a promoter?
Well, I see your argument, but what about PBC? Because I do feel like their business plan is a little different, because for most of their cards, they are pushing like these other fighters, promotional companies. And when you look at like Anthony Joshua, for example, right, who now has a promotional company, but he works exclusively with Matchroom and dazn, right, where he brings in fighters, right? So it's like, how does he get a cut then? You
Okay, so if it's all Canelo Promotions, if it's all, why do they have Matchroom there?
I think I don't know, but I'm assume that the reason why is because they got the old money, they got enough
They're
bread.
just playing the system. They're just playing the system. Y'all know what Al's saying. I don't want to say what Al's doing, but y'all know they just playing. These ain't real. Those ain't real. Man, I'm.
I'll put you like this. Name recognition is important. So if I say I'm a fighter, in Matchroom is my promotional company, and Matchroom's taking the risk of all the losses, but I got my promotional company, Caden Promotions. So every time I fight, I want Caden Promotions in the ring. I want Caden Promotions name right next to Matchroom Promotions, right? I'm not really assuming no risk, but what I'm trying to get is name recognition, right? So when I go out on my own and I'm no longer a fighter and I'm looking for talent, I can say, well, you saw Caden Promotions. We helped do this. We helped do that. Now that I'm assuming the risk, right? Because what's going to happen is at some point I'm going to assume the risk. At some point I'm going to see Shakur Stevenson's or the next Shakur Stevenson at the Olympics, and I'm going to say, hey, you want to come with Caden Promotions? They're going to be like, I never heard of you. What if I don't do it that way? So when I say Caden Promotions, you seen my name on all those fights and whatever. It's really about when it's time for you to stand on your own. Gotcha. You got name recognition.
No, yeah, that makes sense. I rock with that.
All right, so, I mean, anyway, bottom line is, like you said, Trill, it's the same-ish, different toilet, bro. It's all on how you deliver it at the end of the day.
I remember one fighter said a long time ago, he's like, these fighters, the promotion companies are the plantations, right? You know what I'm saying? That's what they said. The fighters fight on these plantations, and the promoters, they be like the slave masters, and one's gonna say I forgot what he said. He said one's gonna say something better about the other one or something like that. So like, this one's better than this one. I forgot, it was some interview Muhammad Ali did a long time ago. But I was like, yeah, I totally agree, man. They're gonna say whatever they gotta say to push their agenda. That's it. Anybody got anything to say? No, that's it. All right. Well, let us know how you feel in the comment section. Please like and subscribe, and check us out on Instagram and Twitter. And please check out our podcast on all major streaming services. We are the Boxing Bros.
Bob should never.
You're welcome.